30 minutes left don't mean you get off.
First of all, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see so many Greeks in the room who have celebrated their Founders Day. So to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta and Alpha Kappa Alpha, happy Founders Day. I see the SG Rose here, Sigma Delta Rose. I see the men of Alpha Phi Alpha. So I just want to say thank you all, and the Qs are here. So I want to make sure that we know, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I'm really excited to have just a few moments to talk with you on today. I'm not in full voice, so you won't get the rabble-rousing or anything else, so please do excuse me. My name is Jacob Jenkins. I've lived in this community for 14 years. I know the value of public education, and the reason being I was the first in my family to graduate from East St. Louis Senior High, East St. Louis Lincoln Senior High, and go on to college and get a bachelor's and master's degree. But one thing about my experience is uniquely different is in 11th grade, I was ready to drop out. I missed 10 days of school and I was done. My brother before me and the one before him both had dropped out of school. So I had a very bleak view of what education was. East St. Louis was one of the worst districts within the state of Illinois. It was known as the murder capital of the United States. So that's what I went to school with. It was during the middle of a crack epidemic because it was the 90s. But one thing that was uniquely different about my experience was I had a father that cared. Even though he had never gone to college, on my 10th or 11th day of missing school, he woke me up and said, "You're going to school." I said, "I'm not going to school, I'm done." He said, "Oh no, you're going to school." And he literally put me in the car, and he put one of my brothers in the car with me, and they drove to the school. When we got to the stop sign, I jumped out of the car. I'm serious, I jumped out of the car, and I was going to just run anywhere I could because I wasn't going back to school. I hated school. And my father said, my one brother after me, his name is Tony Jenkins, who is very fast. And he caught my little pudgy round self very quickly. My father put me in the car. They took me to the school. I got 10 swats because it was during the time where you could still get swats, and the rest is history. But I'm grateful that I had a father that saw something in me that I did not see in myself when I was in the 10th grade. And because of that, I can proudly say that I now work for the Serve Illinois Commission on Volunteerism and Community Service under the governor's office, traveling the entire state of Illinois, celebrating students, celebrating communities that are doing a wonderful thing and making a difference. On this MLK Day, I have coordinated with over 30 programs from Chicago all the way down to East St. Louis who are doing programs on what's called a National Day of Service. On tomorrow, I will be in Kankakee because we put together this beautiful MLK Justice Learning Lab between the state's attorney's office and the school district with the blessing of the superintendent. Because I believe that education doesn't only happen inside of the classroom, but outside of the classroom. Yes, you have seen me at board meetings, and yes, I have been very passionate about it. But do you want to know why I'm passionate about it? It's because I'm an African American historian who is very familiar with research and data. So I don't have a really flowery message to give you about how wonderful education is right now in DPS 61. I can tell you that because, you talked about where Gina Taylor, you talked about how wonderful Memorial Forsyth is and how it's college prep. Well, let me tell you, it's prison prep here. And the reason being is because 17% of students that graduate DPS 61 are ready for college. Third graders, black, white, and other, the numbers are so low. I'll just give you the statistic for African Americans. And it's on the Illinois It's called the Illinois Report Card. There's a 236-page document that lists our scores. So this isn't my data. This isn't Black Jacob saying this about black children. No, this is an educated man telling you the writing on the the writing on the wall when it comes to this district. Third graders, you have 6% of them that can read. 6% of African American third graders can read at grade level, okay? That means that they have done everything they need to do to go on to the next level. When you look at fourth grade, it's 2.5%. When you look at fifth grade, it's 2.5% or 3%. And the data stays that way third through eighth grade. And then you look at science when it comes to eighth graders, and you have 0% and other numbers like that. This is the data. We have chronic absenteeism of 56%, while 99% of our teachers and TAs are in the classroom and ready to teach, but there are no students there to teach because 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, 77% of them have missed almost 18 days of learning or more.
Wow.
We cannot continue to sustain where we are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when these kids graduate or when they're asked to leave, the job market they can even get into. You can't get into trades and labor because you can't read the measurements on a ruler. You won't do well at Caterpillar because you can barely sign your name and don't have soft skills or any of the other skills. So I want to give you a flower message, about how wonderful this district is. But I can't because we've lost 8 black administrators, and 3 of them they paid out. 3 of them they paid out over $270,000 and a gag order. Why don't you want them to talk? Why don't you want them to talk? Why did you deny the one African American superintendent who interviewed for the position, was a finalist, but said she required a 7-0 vote? Let's be honest about where we are and the work that it's going to take to pull this district out. I'm glad I greeted the Greeks on today because we need you in this election. We need the Deltas to come to the polls. We need the SUROs to come to the polls. We need the Alphas to get out the vote. Can we win this election for I and all of the other African American candidates? Yes, if we come together, put together our pettiness, our own agendas, and you really want to change the city, and you really want to work, then you get out the vote. The Deltas have been doing a wonderful job for almost 100 years of being on the front line of getting people out to vote. And so have the SUROs and Alphas. You all have led out, and Sigma too. We have led the charge, and here in the city of Decatur, it is time to lead the charge. I wish I had a smile to give you, but there's too much work to do. My name is Jacob Jenkins. I'm number 1 on the ballot, and I would appreciate your support in this upcoming election. Early voting starts February the 23rd. We have called for 48 hours of direct action, and we will end on April the 4th when we get all of these candidates in. Thank you.